I have been using this little Nano 100 power pack for a few weeks, but what I thought was just a period of me trying it out led me to discover just how useful it is around the house. So what this is, it's a little power pack which has USB-C and USB ports on it, and it can be charged in a normal household socket or with a solar panel, which I have. We'll talk about that in a little bit, or charged up in a vehicle. So what I have found is it really is in the Goldilocks zone, because it's more powerful than just the standard battery pack, yet smaller and lighter than a full-on power station. It really is in that sweet spot where a battery pack might not be enough, but power station is way too much overkill. So let me just give you a little brief description about it. First thing is, look at the size. This is my iPhone, so you can see the size of it compared to, this isn't a Max, this is just the iPhone Pro 12. My favourite thing, look at this cable. It just retracts in and out and snaps back in and neatly pops in there. The other thing which is really good about this cable, it's a USB-C cable, by the way, it's input and output. So this is where I plug it into the solar panel. And this is also the point that I use for charging my laptop. I'm going to go into that in detail at the end. It's not going to interest everyone, but I'm really going to go into detail at the end, because I mentioned this before in a few videos back, saying how my old MacBook has this party trick where it just refuses, just shuts down, and there's nothing wrong with the battery. It's got battery power, but it thinks it hasn't, and it just shuts down. So I have to have it plugged in all the time, and I thought this would be good. But that MacBook has an old charger which hasn't got a detachable lead. It's all fixed, so it can only be It can only be plugged. I think I was thinking the word charged there and came out of chugged. New word. It can only be plugged in a normal household socket. So it obviously has a display and tells you the input and the output, which is nice, so you can see what it's drawing in if you're doing it in the car or with the solar panel, and also you can see what your devices are using. Got nice little feet at the bottom so it doesn't slip. So what this is not something you're going to carry around with you, although, you know, you could if you had a nice sturdy backpack. But you're not going to carry it around like a battery pack. This is great for things like, I mean, camping. Imagine camping, especially with the little 30-watt solar panel, and just keeping all your tech and your devices charged. You know, when you're on the road, when you're camping, you're going fishing, you're out and about all day. And obviously for off-grid living as another alternative charging device. As I say, I just think it's great for your tech. So why I said it's so good round the house is because for example, working on my laptop, I do very power hungry things. And I mean, things like video editing, the software takes up a lot of power. So you need to charge it regularly or have it plugged in. So, but I mean, this house is a house that was built when we didn't have so much tech. So sockets are just in places like for the TV, a utility socket in the hall for the vacuum cleaner, you know the thing. So I'll be sitting, say like at this table and my laptop runs out of charge, but there's not a socket close by. But I have this. The amount of times I've been like sitting at the coffee table with my iPad and it's run out of power and there isn't a socket nearby, but I want to carry on sitting where I'm sitting while it charges and while I use it. I've just brought this out. The other thing is, this camera that I am using, it has 4 components of it that need charging. So I can just, instead of having those bits like dangling or, you know, sitting on the floor, because that's where they have to be near a socket, I can just sit them all on the shelf and plug them into this. So honestly, so yeah, where I thought this was going to be great for camping, and it is still going to be great for camping, I found it really handy around the house. So I mentioned the solar panel. It's a little 30-watt solar panel, which actually, when I opened it, I thought, this is nice. It's nice and sturdy, folds up all neat. The one thing that is a problem with it though is it just keeps folding back in. So it's got support at the back where you can stand it up, but when you do, it just keeps folding in on itself. So I had to put something on either end to prop it up. But that's all I can say about it, because for weeks I have been trying to get just a little bit of sun to try it out and see how long it takes to charge the little unit. It was really sunny one day, the sun was out, not a cloud in the sky. I had it out there for an hour, and then within the hour it was all overcast again. Right, so as you can see, we've got a lovely full sun and it is shining right onto the panel here. Perfect. I only had to wait a couple of weeks for the sun to show up. Let's have a look at the charge that's given us. We are at 23% and we're pulling in 15 watts. And this is a 30-watt solar panel. And even in this sun, we're only pulling in 15. But anyway, that's what we've got. We'll leave that and see how long, put a stopwatch on and see how long that takes to charge. Right, well, as is typical, that did not last. So I think I got about an hour of charging before the sun went in. So yeah, it really is difficult in the UK. So as you can see, there's absolutely no input now, and it only went up to 33%. One thing I do think is a shame, I wish it would have come with a lead so that you could plug it in and charge it in the car. It can be charged from a vehicle, but there's no lead. So that's a real shame. This obviously got sent to me by AFERY. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm interested in off-grid living, and I'm doing a lot of finding out about your power solutions for off-grid living. So obviously this was something I was going to say yes to. However, when I did say yes to it, I thought, oh, probably it's not something that I'll necessarily use, because if I go camping, I'm going to have my big power pack with me, so I don't need it, and I won't need it in any other situation. Well, I will most definitely be keeping it and using it because I love it for indoors, as I said, and it will definitely make a nice little addition to my bigger power pack. And as I say, I just love it for my tech. So as I mentioned, one of the things I wanted to make sure was that this unit could be used as a regular charger for my MacBook Pro. I mean, it's all very well using things once in a while that aren't optimal, but to use it regularly, I wanted to make sure it was compatible and it will be optimum for the Mac battery, and it is, because a MacBook charger charges between 61 and 96 watts. So this 100-watt port is perfect. As long as I use the 100-watt port and not the 45-watt, which is a little bit low for it, it does actually come up and show that it's not charging when you use the low one. So it is perfect and I can use it. It's 100% safe as a regular charger for my MacBook Pro, which I am really chuffed about. So yeah, not much else to say except for, you know, I've had several weeks of testing and I really like it. It's a really good little unit.